Previously on Battlestar Galactica.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brendan, and some people know me as Cliffjumper because of that wonderful incident that I had driving off a cliff in Malibu in my Corrado a number of years ago. God saw fit to make sure that I survived that unfortunate incident, and I'm very grateful for that. We are going to be getting into a quick little maintenance project today. For those of you who have a Mk4 R32 with glass lights, glass lenses on your headlights. Actually, you know what? This could really be applicable to anyone who has glass lenses on their headlights that is using LaminX to protect them. Now, I've had LaminX on my lights since I got them back in 2005, the E-code projector lights, and been very protective of them. They're still uncracked and unblemished. And what I've found is LaminX as a protection needs to be replaced every so often because it suffers from some of the same challenges as typical polycarbonate lenses, which is that it gets cloudy and it gets scratched and it loses some of its optical quality. It does maintain its protective quality, but it loses the optical quality. So unlike a polycarbonate lens, you can't polish it back out because it's a softer kind of plastic, being more of a vinyl-based substance. It's I forget how thick it is, but it's pretty thick stuff. It is a little squishy to absorb impact from rocks and road hazards. So anyway, mine are starting to get to that really kind of hazy stage of life. I'm going to be removing them. I'm going to be treating the lens with a cleaner to remove all the previous adhesive, and then I'll be replacing it with some brand new LaminX. You can get these things for about 30 bucks, 35. They're pretty cheap. It's very cheap insurance. Highly recommend it if you don't already have some. I'm not affiliated in any way, although if somebody from LaminX wanted to throw me some replacement for the next time around, I'd be totally fine with that. Hint, hint. I'm gonna get into it right now. So all you need to remove it is a heat gun or a hair dryer. It doesn't require a whole lot of heat to get it done. So the low heat setting is going to be good enough to release the adhesive. Peel it off. We'll use some special adhesive cleaner that is made specifically for cars. It's for removing vinyl wraps, stickers, and decals without harming your paint. And then I'll just give it a quick wash with some dish soap to get rid of any sort of chemical on the surface there, and then we'll go ahead and put the new LaminX on there. Alright, so here we go. Now, the first thing you need to know is if you are working with a heat gun, this is one of those jobs where you either need to use a set of gloves that are heat resistant or not use gloves at all. If you use regular vinyl nitrile gloves, this can heat them up so quickly that it can actually melt to your skin and cause you third-degree burns. You don't want that. So I'm going to elect to use the no gloves approach today to remove these. I'm just going to be heating them up a little bit and just peeling them from one edge to the other to remove them, and it should go fairly easily. And then we'll go ahead and use some of this. This is a special formulation of Goo Gone. It is meant to be used just for automotive applications. It's to get rid of stickers and vinyl wrap and that sort of stuff. We'll clean it off a little bit with that, and then some soap and water just to make sure there isn't any adhesive chemical stuff left on it, and then we'll put on the new LaminX. Alright, old one is off. I'm going to go ahead and grab the other one as well before I move on to cleaning them so I can do every stage at the same time. See how this stuff does. It's like normal goo gone. Oh, there's the Death Star alarm.
20 minutes later.
Alright, so last night I got pulled away from working on this because I forgot about a work Zoom meeting that I had to get to. So, I came out here after the sun went down and discovered that the Goo Gone adhesive remover was really not having any effect on the leftover adhesive that was here. So I went a little old school. Yeah, I noticed it was pretty hard. So I took a flat razor and just very gently took the time to scrape as much of the residue off. Now these are glass lenses. You can do that on glass if you are using a brand new razor and you're very, very careful. It is still possible to scratch glass, but just, you know, really not applying much pressure at all and just letting the rubbery stuff come off. Just kind of came off in big long peels, like removing wallpaper adhesive. So that did that with both of the lenses, and they're looking pretty good. Now I think I can take the Goo Gone stuff and attack the leftover adhesive, and it should come off fairly easily. So we're gonna do that now and see how it goes. Try to get this as clear as possible, get all the adhesive off, and then we'll clean it with some regular dish soap and warm water, and we'll probably just hit it with a little bit of polish as well, just to make sure that we clear off any imperfections, and just hit it with a buffer. Just make sure the glass is as optically clear as possible before I put on another LaminX cover. Now these were, again, they were brand new when I put on the covers immediately. Actually, I have to say thank you to one of the members of SoCal R32 back in 2005 at one of our first get-togethers. I think it was SoCal R32 get-together number 2 or 3, when I got these lenses and put them on, and immediately one of the guys there at the gathering said, "Oh, hey, you need to put on the LaminX covers to protect the glass so they don't chip." And great foresight there, so thank you. I don't remember who that was, but whoever it was, it's definitely helped me out, because here I am 15 years later and the lenses are still in great shape. Alright, so let's get to this. I'm just going to apply some of this on here and rub it around, and oh yeah, you know, when there isn't an overwhelming amount of adhesive, this actually works pretty good. I can feel it releasing and coming off of the surface, and the surface getting really smooth. So that's definitely what we were aiming for yesterday, but there was so much caked up because these LaminX covers have been on for so long that this stuff just congealed, or I don't know, there's probably a technical term for what happens to old adhesive. special here, just dish soap and warm water. I've got this car on a battery tender because she isn't driven often enough to keep the battery completely charged. So that's a thing, and yeah. Now the LaminX kit comes with a razor very nicely, so I can put my flat one aside. Comes with a little squirter bottle that you can put distilled water in. Now I already have one. So that's already got distilled water ready to go. Comes with, if I recall, it comes with a spudger as well to help you out with smoothing out air bubbles. Align an edge first is what they recommend, and I like to start with the top edge because it's the easiest to see just from my viewing angle looking down. There are others that will line it up with the bottom and fold it up towards the top. It doesn't really matter, you know, one way or the other. You can pull it back because of the water. It'll give you the ability to pull it off if you screw it up and put it back on. You got to be really careful not to stretch it though. You don't want to pull it so hard that it's stretching the material, or it just gets really funky and it messes with the optical clarity. Now, after you have it on, then you spray it with more of the distilled water so that you can use the spudger, or the squeegee, and smooth away any of the water that is underneath. You got to do it carefully so that you don't make the film itself move around under the pressure of your hand. And you also don't want to scratch the material, which you can do. It's not likely with this rubber spudger that they give you, but it is possible if you're really putting too much pressure on there. You can also make crinkles and it can bunch up, so you just take your time with it. After that, you can use a heat gun to help with any wrinkles you do get in it. So don't worry too much if you do get something bunched up here or there and everything else looks good. If it doesn't look good, just peel it up again, put it back, and then you should be fine. But if everything looks good except for one little spot, then just hold off, use your heat gun, come back to it, and then gently work it down. And they do note that there's a little bit of breathability to these. So if you have air bubbles, that's normal. Most of them will go away over a couple of days, especially if you're in a warm, sunny environment, they will just disappear. But if you have bubbles that persist, if they stick around for more than like 2 or 3 days, just take a needle and just like pop the blister. It'll go away. This stuff is annealing, it's self-annealing, so it'll basically heal itself and that hole will go away. And the first step here is distilled water. Doesn't have to be crazy wet, just wet enough. Okay, this should be this side. as it dries, the edges may come up. So I'll check this back in a few hours after it's been sitting in the sun and push the edges back down. That's, again, it's kind of normal for them to come up. But at this point, that's pretty much it. You see they're kind of imperfect looking right now. Normal. They'll get a lot better. So that's pretty good. We're going to leave that. See, there's a bubble right about there. Looking at it from different angles, there's another one right there. We're going to see what the sun does with those and leave it for now. We'll move on to the other.
Minutes later.
So there you have it. The LaminX headlight protective film is installed and looking pretty good. Under hood, just to kind of show off what I've done here. A long time ago I color matched and painted the plastic trim elements that cover the engine cover, battery cover. This is an old EIP, complete cold air intake system, and it is color matched as well. So just a little bit of pretty stuff happening under the hood. You can see I've got the Mk4 R lip, and as we did a few weeks ago, we painted the grills and the lip so that they would be glossy and match these maxed inside skirts that we have here. Got the maxed in apron on the back as well, so everything matches. And I think I do need to run an errand today, so we're going to take the R32 and make use of her as long as we need to go out for essential business. So I've let it sit out in the sun for a couple of days, and most of the little bubbles have disappeared, although there are still a few. There's a few little spots here where I am going to go ahead and pierce it with a needle to let out the air and the water in these little abscesses. Let's go check out the other side. And yeah, this one's looking pretty good too. There's one spot there, a spot there. Looks like a little spot right up here at the top. This one came out much better. So you know, a little bit right there and right there. So just a few little spots that we got to take care of. And then again, this material is self-annealing, so it'll heal, and then we'll have perfect cover. It's been a few days. Car's been in the sun, and the bubbles have had a chance to kind of evaporate. I was gonna go through and just see if there were any bubbles or imperfections left that needed to be dealt with by you know, slightly poking through the laminate. And there are a couple of tiny little spots there. I'm gonna zoom in close here so you can see what we're talking about. They're pretty insignificant, so I may just leave them. Again, this material is like right there is little bubble, so we're just gonna poke a needle in there, squeeze out the material. There's just a little bit of water stuck in there, a little bit of air. There's one right there as well, and just a little tiny bubble, and it's big enough that it's not going to just go away on its own. So we'll go ahead and pierce it, and again, this material is self-annealing, so it'll heal itself. all that mischief managed for this R32 project, replacing the LaminX covers on both of the headlights. We've been successful. Not too hard of a job. Again, you have to stretch it over a few days just to allow for the sun to cook out any of the moisture or bevels that are in there, but we're at the tail end of this. They're good to go. So that car's now 99%. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share this video if you found it entertaining or interesting, and I hope it helped you out if you have an R32 or actually any kind of car that has glass headlights that you want to do the Lexan covers on.
But wait, there's more.
Thanks for tuning in, and I think on our next project for the R32, we're actually going to take the front end, take the bumper off, put it in service position, and we're going to repair a wiring harness that is only accessible with everything pulled away from the front. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to wait for it to cool down because it's in the high 80s. I think it's supposed to get into the mid to low 70s later this week, so we'll wait for it to cool off and get to that then. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you like what you're seeing. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Appreciate it. See ya. If you wouldn't mind checking out my Drive Tribe articles that I've written, head on over there. You can search for my name. I've written a few articles about various car experiences. I'd love for people to read my stuff. And of course, if you want to partner with me on Patreon and help sponsor me so that I can keep putting out great content, for many of the videos that we're doing, replacing parts, doing DIY projects, how to do stuff at home, I want to provide that material for you, and hopefully you find it fun and encouraging and inspiring, and at the very least mildly entertaining. But thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you, and I'm going to just leave you with a few more happy Wookiee noises as I accelerate out of here.